What do Christians ask wrong from God? Top 10 biggest mistakes in praying 700 words. Christians, like anyone in prayer, can sometimes approach God with misunderstandings or misaligned intentions. While the Bible encourages believers to pray with faith and sincerity, certain habits or attitudes can hinder the depth and effectiveness of prayer. Here are the top 10 common mistakes Christians make in prayer. 1. Asking with selfish motives. Many Christians fall into the trap of praying solely for their personal desires, often driven by materialism or selfish ambition. James 4 verse 3 warns, "You ask and do not receive because you ask wrongly, to spend it on your passions." Prayers should align with God's will and kingdom purposes rather than self-centered goals. 2. Demanding immediate results. In today's fast-paced world, impatience can dominate prayer life. Christians might ask for answers with an expectation that God works on their timeline. However, Isaiah 55 verses 8 to 9 reminds believers that God's thoughts and timing are higher than ours, requiring trust in his perfect plan. 3. Praying without faith. Doubt undermines the effectiveness of prayer. Hebrews 11 verse 6 emphasizes that without faith, it is impossible to please God. Some Christians may ask for blessings while secretly doubting whether God will actually deliver, which contradicts the trust he desires from his followers. 4. Using prayer as a last resort. Some only turn to God when all other options have failed, treating prayer as a backup plan rather than a primary way of life. Philippians 4 verse 6 encourages believers to bring everything to God in prayer with thanksgiving, not just emergencies. 5. Seeking blessings without obedience. Asking for God's blessings while living in willful disobedience is a common misstep. Proverbs 28 verse 9 says, "If anyone turns a deaf ear to my instruction, even their prayers are detestable." Christians should strive for a life that aligns with God's word to approach him rightly. 6. Praying without gratitude. Focusing solely on requests while neglecting thanksgiving can make prayers self-serving. 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 18 urges Christians to give thanks in all circumstances, recognizing God's past faithfulness before asking for future blessings. 7. Overlooking God's will. Jesus taught his followers to pray, "Your will be done." However, some Christians insist on their own plans, disregarding God's greater wisdom and sovereignty. True prayer seeks alignment with his will, even when it's difficult to understand. 8. Focusing on long, repetitive prayers. Lengthy or flowery prayers do not guarantee effectiveness. Jesus warned against babbling like pagans who think they'll be heard for their many words. Prayer should be heartfelt, simple, and sincere, not about impressing others or God. 9. Neglecting forgiveness. Holding grudges while asking for God's blessings creates a spiritual blockage. Matthew 6 verses 14 to 15 highlights the importance of forgiving others before expecting forgiveness from God. Unforgiveness hinders both personal peace and prayer effectiveness. 10. Praying without action. While prayer is powerful, some Christians treat it as a substitute for taking necessary action. James 2 verse 26 reminds believers that faith without works is dead. God often answers prayers by prompting believers to act according to his guidance. Tips for transforming prayer life. Pray with a heart of surrender. Submit your desires to God's will. Cultivate a grateful spirit. Begin prayers with thanksgiving. Seek God's kingdom first. Prioritize his plans over personal wants. Approach with humility. Recognize God's greatness and your dependence on him. Practice consistency. Make prayer a daily habit, not just an occasional ritual.